Good.
Yo, how's it going?
Yeah, how is you going? Like you're very early up, or you're not up, you're laying there. I waked you up very early in Florida. It's like 6:30 or something, or 7:30 or 7
It's
o'clock.
it's like 7 o'clock in the morning here, so it's all good though. Welcome to Uwe Boll RAW, my friends, with Dr. Uwe Boll. I'm Gary Otto here in Florida. So what's new, my friend?
Yeah, we went a week away to Greece. Very hot there. Here is a lot of rain in Germany. Uh, and yeah, and now we're back here, and I try to get a hold on everything. I mean, the thing is with these situations, like in Germany, for example, this year with the weather. When you always uh, read like, oh, we have the global warming, you know, and I mean, my personal experience. When I just look into my personal experience, ignoring everything what is ever written about global warming, I don't feel it here that it gets warmer every year. It's not the case. This year, we had enormous amounts of rain, and we had one very hot week so far in Germany. And we have almost August. So that's the fact. Yes, there are other territories that are way hotter because I'm starting that subject matter because I read today an article that Trump wants to get out not only of the climate thing, he wants to also come up with a law that the climate change or CO2 or fossil fuel burning is a hoax, that has to do something to do with any damage to the planet. And if he would do this, America would have an enormous, everybody will lose his shit, but they will have an enormous advantage economy for the economy.
I think global warming is a thing. I
Yeah,
see it every day.
you know,
All of the changes in weather, the Texas floods, it's right in front of us. Everybody sees it every day, every year. It gets worse and worse.
I
So
know,
I would have to disagree.
I know, but wait. Let me interrupt. I think there is a global. I say there's a climate change, and we see that with the hurricanes. We see that with the floods. That's definitely went massive, and there is definitely, I think, also an impact on burning fossil fuels to the climate in general. Since the industrial revolution started, since the first engine was running on oil or fuel, tons of shit changed, right? So that's 100%. But is it really so fatalistic as the Club of Rome wrote 40 years ago? Like in 20 years, we're all dead, and now it's 40 years later. Is it going so accelerated as this people who basically say we have to switch everything off or we die? Is it this or is it the others? I think that the truth is somewhere in the middle, right? So it's maybe not going so quick that we're all dead as the some scientists and people wrote, um, and but it's also definitely existing. To deny it, it's of course total bullshit because of course there is weather change and temperature change um, existing. That's 100%. You know. So, but since COVID, I have to say I also need to put my own experiences and what I see personally where I am into perspective, right? So, because COVID vaccines were not what they told us, right? They were not like really healing or made you resistant to COVID. We all know this now. So, and since they did all that lockdowns and then other countries not, and then the death toll was exactly the same. So there was a lot of mistakes during COVID. And since then, I feel you cannot completely ignore your own environment. You know,
Yeah, that you may have a point there, but science also has a point too. And I don't think science should be completely ruled out just because they made like a couple of mistakes along the way. Because COVID was an unprecedented time where nobody knew what the fuck was going on and they were desperately trying to catch up fast, just in hopes that they could save lives. Because people who were more vulnerable did die. We just weren't those folks. We weren't those folks with like leukemia or whatever. And I think it's a shame that like the cuts that Trump's doing to the medical community for people on Medicaid is basically like telling the people to die. And I mean, he doesn't seem to give two fucks about the people who are vulnerable. So he'll push that whole COVID. COVID is the shot was unnecessary. Well, it was unnecessary for us, but it was not. It was necessary and still is necessary for a percentage of the population. And same thing with the weather. Like, yeah, maybe it might be somewhere in the middle, but that middle point is the point of no return. Is the point of like when it starts to and it keeps gradually getting hotter and hotter each year. We might not see it in our lifetimes, but our children and their children might. And that's kind of the point is we can't we try to predict the future. We do our best. We can't. But if I was to trust anybody, I would trust science more than my gut. Even if they're going to be wrong, I'd rather them be wrong than make the mistake of possibly shifting into a world where we can't even go outside in the middle of the day. Like I work at Disney, and in the middle of the day here in Florida, people are passing out from heat stroke
No, 100%.
and
But that is what I mean. You live in a different environment. You had the floods in the house. You have a different temperature, right?
yeah,
And you go with your first hand experience too. I mean, in Greece, it was 38 Celsius, right? It was super hot. In Turkey, it's 43 Celsius right now. It's crazy. You cannot go out at lunchtime. You have to sit in a hotel room with air conditioning. So I think that's, you want my car key? Here, here. Uh, Natalie goes with the dogs. Here's Gary. Hi.
hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
So, uh, yeah, no, I think the truth is everywhere, always in the middle. You know, I talked extensive, of course, in Germany also about the COVID thing, and I will not blame the government or any pharmaceutical industry that they tried to do a vaccine quick, and because it was the logical way out of it, right? I'm also don't discount COVID as an illness, 100% a very bad virus. People didn't know at that point also, as you said, you struggle to get the informations together. How bad is it? How dangerous is it? And all that stuff. I don't blame anybody for anything. Uh, but I'm also, based on everything what later came out, uh, willing to change my own opinion that I was
Yeah,
thinking a little too glorified about the science and too glorified about the pharmaceutical companies. And they at that point, remember when we thought we get two vaccines and we're done, right? So and I'm immune forever or something like this. And then, of course, after we got two vaccines, they came up with no, you actually need every 3 months a new booster, and all that stuff. You know, and it was also in retrospective when you see exactly how you say the people who had an illness pre, like heavy diabetes, and then they died. The question in retrospective was it justified to close all that schools and kindergartens? You know, for the psychological damage we did to young kids, was
yeah.
it justified? That's
I
another.
think that there was also a lot of damage to the economy when they closed all those businesses. So I can agree with you there.
Yeah. So, and then we're coming back to the climate change. Uh, I think I had yesterday a discussion about Trump with somebody, and I say, look, Trump is the only president I think on the whole planet who handles the country like he would be a manager of a Walmart. right? So and I think all the other, no, when you see his wheeling and dealing everywhere with the with the tariffs and so on. Today with the EU, they did the 15% instead of 25% or instead of 50%. So every week something new, right? And he's like the Walmart guy who has one Walmart store, and then it's like he looks over the street and sees, oh, they sell that more. I have to make their life hell. I have to, whatever, have a construction fence that nobody can go in the parking spot of that other supermarket across the street. I have to buy shit cheaper on bulk. They selling across the street a lot of whatever canoes. So I buy all the canoes so that all the customers coming over to us. That is how he handled his life forever. He's like exactly what I mean. You know him from long time, from Queens and so on. Uh, and I think that's exactly how he manages the country. And I think the other and I don't want to say that's the worst idea, but nobody else, no political person thinks like him. They thinking more longer term, bigger picture, whatever, right? And they feel like if he wouldn't started the whole tariff war, everything would went way more smooth the last 4 or 5 months of his presidency, and maybe the economy would not be in any form affected in a positive or negative. Maybe if he would did absolutely nothing and he ignored all that tariffs wars, the US economy would even look better as it looks now, right? With the dollar lost over 12% value in comparison to the euro in the last 3 months. So,
I think that Trump doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and that's evident in his failed Atlantic City casinos and all the other businesses that he's run into the ground, and the effect that he had on my old neighborhood. I could go on and on and on. He's not a smart man. He's not as smart as he thinks he is, and he's going by a playbook written by other people, and he's surrounded by people who are so obsessed with him that he rides off of he coattails off of their successes, off of their ideas. I don't think he's a very smart man. I think he's got good intuition half the time, but not only that, but he's kind of a dick. Like I think that's the biggest problem that a lot of people have with him is that he's a fucking asshole. He's an asshole. He's a liar. He's got all these traits that you can't trust, yet he's our president. And a lot of information is being suppressed, I feel. Like that's this whole Epstein thing.
I
Like
agree.
this is just one of many, I'm sure, informations that because he controls the Department of Justice, he controls all these different departments, all these different major, uh, like he is a dangerous man, and I can't wait until his presidency is over for us to see all the shit that we've been living through. And hopefully in 2028, there will be elections again because I have this horrible feeling that we're going to be stuck with this forever. There has to be a way out. The United States is turning into a shithole. Like, if I wanted to quit my job right now, I would, but then there's no jobs. There's no jobs because the competition is fierce right now. Nobody can get a fucking job, and it's
But
all because of him. Uh,
I
a
hear you.
lot of Yeah, I'll keep talking. A lot of people are going out there looking for jobs. The people who have been fired from their high profile positions in government are out there looking for jobs. They may be overqualified for them, but they're taking them. And that's leaving people fresh out of college or people who want to shift their profession like me into a fucking bind. Like, I don't want to work at fucking Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Like, give me a fucking break. So
But
I
what you see
think,
how the look everywhere, the Epstein, right? So the whole,
yeah.
with him not releasing the files, the pressure is on, right? So I think, and I wrote very bad things about Trump based on the Epstein thing, that he ran on there are no more secrets, the deep state is all bullshit, blah blah blah. He ran on this, and then uh, now he's not releasing it. And I mean, that's the Financial Time, right? Trump loyalist, whatever. So there is really, I think the pressure is mounting, and tons of people um, MAGA fans from Tucker Carlson to Joe Rogan pressuring everybody to release the complete Epstein files. And that he's not doing it is basically, you cannot see it different, an admission of guilt, that he was way closer to Epstein as he wanted to be now. And he is surprised that he 100% that Pat Bondi went with the parts of the Epstein files to him, where he is mentioned, where he was there, where he was at parties, whatever, right? And then he said, okay, then we don't release the files, you know? And that's the thing, the opposite to what he said. He will like go against that deep state and blah, blah, blah. You know, and that's, I twittered last week that means he goes full dictator, because you cannot run on something and then, oh, now it's against me. Okay, that you can forget. That with this, I have a massive problem. You know, some
Yeah.
policies he's doing, I'm supporting. You know, I'm supporting that he tries to get the Ukraine war wrapped up, but also didn't work. I support him that he tried to solve the Iran situation. You know, like all this kind of stuff, that he tries to not get a lot of wars going and whatever de-escalates. That I support him. But what you think is that Epstein thing, could that be his end? Because
I think I think that he is guilty. I think that his name is in there. I think that he's scared. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to like Mike Johnson said in the Senate, he said he wants to give the White House a chance to fix this on their own. And notice that they are not releasing the files, but they've reached out to Ghislaine Maxwell. So I bet you they're gonna give her some kind of a deal if she says Trump is not, he was never there, but she's been proven a liar. And I'm sure somebody with the 20-year prison sentence will say absolutely anything to get out of it. So can we really trust Trump's Department of Justice? Highly not. No way. So what we're going to see is we're going to see probably no release of Epstein files, but her making some kind of a statement exonerating him, and then him saying, see, it comes from the horse's mouth. We don't need to release any files. She was his accomplice. And it's just such a corrupt time. All the people he's pardoned already, some of them have been rearrested, like the January Sixers, and she shouldn't be given a pardon, I don't think. I mean, she was one of the groomers, one of the people who engaged in sex acts with the minors, along with Epstein, and in like threesomes and things like that, trying to teach them how to have sex. So, yeah, Trump is totally guilty, man.
you remember that I said various times, not one president outside of dictator countries like Russia is able to pardon people, like the German chancellor or also Macron and all that other key starmer in England. Nobody can just get somebody out of jail. That's impossible. Only in America, right? What Biden did was also total bullshit. And what other, you know, like that, you cannot, as a president, just pardon people. You're not the Justice Department. You're not a judge. So, and that's the thing, what of course opens the door for total corruption. Maxwell, as you said, I 100% agree, will testify everything to get out of there, right? And it's, of course, crystal clear that the whole interrogation of Maxwell now had only one goal, to exonerate Trump. I mean, why the fuck they want to talk to her? She was guilty of everything, got 20 years, right? It's not like, let's find out now a little more about Bill Gates or something, you know, like stuff like this. I mean, and the crazy thing is that the Trump defenders on this, that I think is a very interesting term. They say, look, there is nothing in it, because otherwise the Biden administration would already release the files if there was something against Donald Trump in. They would use it against Trump, right? But of course not, because in that files is also negative shit about maybe Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, other people. That was the reason the Biden administration didn't use it. You cannot use a part of it to damage Donald Trump. If Biden would did that, they would have to say, okay, now everything is get out, not only Trump, and they would pressure Biden, and everything gets out. And there were way more Democrats involved in the fucking pedophile Epstein stuff as Republicans. That's a fact, you know. So, and the thing is, that was the reason it was not released. And then Trump said, "See, they're all guilty. They're all guilty." He ran on this. He told that to everybody. Everybody's a pervert. Bill Gates, whatever. Bill Clinton. He told that to everybody. Oprah was there, and so on. And now, where he saw the files himself, he sees, oh fuck, I partied too much with that guy, and I cannot release it. So, and now they try to turn Maxwell. I think that's like just like completely totalitarianism. It's like total dictatorship bullshit, and it only exists because he can pardon people. If the
What I think is really funny. Do you remember he said that it's a hoax whenever it's something that he doesn't want, dude? He just says it's a hoax. Wasn't it
yeah,
the Republican Party or the people who did the investigation? They're the ones who came to the conclusion. So everything's a hoax.
totally that as soon as it doesn't fit him, it's a hoax, right? And so that, I mean, that's the thing, that let's say the final judgment on the all the pro and cons from Trump is still out, but it doesn't look good, and it doesn't look promising. A lot of people start being disappointed of him. I only think the one perspective we have to also bring to the table is that the Democrats also fucked a lot of things up, and they're also criminals, and there's a lot of scandals. The mayor Adams in New York, right? He got prison, and then Trump pardoned him only because then he maybe helps him with all his real estate in New York. That's poor corruption also with Democrats involved. You know, there is a lot of dirty place by the Democrats also. And indirectly, a lot of Democrats, including Obama, kind of, it's not bribery, whatever, but they use their positions over and over again to gain a lot of money. You know, the Obamas made $100 million deal with Netflix. He made a $50 million book deal. Hillary Clinton made the $50 million book deal. You could all say that's totally normal, but I mean that we're also kind of using the political power to gain a lot of economic
Yeah.
benefits. And a lot of people did that, right?
Yeah, a lot of people do that. That's it's not just Obama. It's like people when they're out of office, almost everybody is making money on the touring circuit, talking at colleges and writing books. I'm not surprised. It's been that way for a long time. Bill Clinton did that. So, that's just the nature of the game. I mean, yeah, they are abusing their position and charging too much, I feel. It's like you're not celebrities, you're public officials. So I would have to agree that, they should lower their price tag if they really cared about the community and the students that they're supposedly going out to talk to at their graduation, etc. As for the book stuff, I mean, those book companies are making like probably tons of money off that, so they're willing to pay it.
Yeah. And I have a lot of,
You
uh,
deserve a 50 million book deal.
yeah, I know, but I'm getting like $8 back from for my stuff, you know. It's like crazy. Uh, and I have, like, when I was outside, there are a few things happened where I want to just talk about it. The one thing, what I came is the whole thing with Colbert got canceled, uh,
Oh,
and I see this a little different as maybe you, or a little different as a lot of other people, uh, because maybe you saw also how much losses Colbert made. And I just read today, and I made a photo, I twittered it, that when you just see, I mean, linear TV, like this kind of network TV, is dead, right? And the thing is, all that people, when you see a Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, right? He made, there was from 2022 to now a drop from $120 million in advertising revenues for the Tonight Show with Fallon to 50 million. Jimmy Kimmel from 89 million to 50 million. Colbear from 75 million to 32 million. Seth Meyers from 42 million to 16 million. And the Jon Stewart one, because on a one time, went from 3.8 to 1.9 million. So that means all these people, and Letterman and Jay Leno before, and also these guys, they want 10 to 20 million dollars to do that show. They're getting paid like big movie stars. And I think that will also, with AI coming up and all this stuff, and that streaming demand like controls everything, I think these days have to be over. I think we have to tell everybody, including all that actors, like, you need to get less money to make the others still have work. Nobody would stop. Like, I heard, like, the Colbert show was 110 million to do a year, and it lost 40 million, and he got 25, right? So, I mean, would be not the first step to say, because Colbert, when you think about how long he's in that job, should have a private wealth somewhere between 100 and 300 million bucks, right? So now, can he not say, I'm doing it for 3 million from now on per year? But they would not. The management, they have all big managers, and they're all milking the system. And who has to pay this? The people who are subscribers, the people who pay the cable channels and or the network channels. And that's the thing. It's like, I see that as, in a way, the tip of the iceberg. Did it came during, basically, Trump got the payouts from, because the Paramount deal, 100%, it came totally to the wrong time, right? But we shouldn't forget, South Park is still Paramount and folds Trump into pieces, and they didn't get canceled, and they will not get canceled because they get 1.5 billion for 3 years. So they also shuffling it in left and right. But Family Guy is Paramount. So, like, it's not that I don't think that Paramount will go completely MAGA now and produces only shit what is pro-Trump. I don't see that coming. And so I felt, when you read in Europe the press about Colbert, it was he got fired because Donald Trump told to Ellison, the new owner of Paramount, fire Colbert. But
But
that,
it's more than that. They got rid of the whole show. They got rid of the whole late night show. They didn't need to do that.
I know, but as you see, the show is losing money every year.
There
And
would have been ways to downsize it. There would have been ways to bring in a new host and downsize there's way with a new producer, it's possible. They just
no, you would have to build a new guy who you say, we give you 1 million a year, then it could work, right? So, like less pay, and
well, you have to remember that if they had got 1 million, they'll only keep half. So I bet you two is probably closer to reality.
yeah, but 2 is different as 20, you know.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then you could maybe downsize a little, like, I don't know what they do with the guests, if the guests getting pay, if they're coming or no, I don't know. And then, that's the thing. It's like, for me, when I heard the Colbert Show cost 110 million a year to produce, my reaction was, for what? I mean, you're like, you're in that studio and you have guests. I mean, what the fuck costs so much money?
Maybe the rent, that building, that's right down the street from where I used to live. It's right in the middle of Midtown. I
Yeah,
bet you part of it is the rent. It's a huge studio.
yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's another thing. All that podcasters, they have more audience and they're sitting in the living room. Think about how much is it to make the Joe Rogan show or Tucker Carlson on YouTube. That costs basically nothing. You have the
Mhm.
technical setup, whatever they spend in the beginning, 50 grand or something, that's it. And
Well,
then,
maybe that's the future.
yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I feel, because I read that book on holidays here. I don't know if you know that, from Noah Harari, Nexus. Is like, um, basically about mostly the development of information, how information was flowing during the whole history of the world, and then it comes to now, right, to AI, and it's very interesting and not promising. Let's say it this way. Where you feel like AI will be the best thing ever. What happens to the planet? he brings the dangers of AI to a boiling point, and not only the dangers in regards of how many people will lose their job and then need. He said there will be new jobs with AI too, but who pays you to learn the new skills to take a new job? In between, like who pays you in between, right? When you're an Uber driver and now the robot drives alone, like there's no more Uber drivers or Uber food delivery and all this shit, right? There will be drones, your pizza. So if all of this happens, a lot of lower end jobs will disappear, and not only in America, everywhere on the whole planet. He brings also, he said, all these call centers in India, they have like 500,000 people there, right? They will be all very soon, all AI. Means like all that Indian guys on the phones the whole time. Here's the Walmart. What is your problem with your? They will be all replaced by AI. So basically hundreds of millions of people will be out of the job because of AI. And he said, okay, there will be another, let's say 100 million jobs are gone. There will be maybe 10 million new jobs, but you have to learn that new job. And you have to like, and the thing is like, what is the government doing for all that people who are getting replaced by robots? And
I actually looked up AI because I am trying to finish my degree and I was thinking about like, fuck, like I'm not making enough money and the world is changing. And then I said to myself, look at AI. My cousin told me to look at AI and I was like, okay. So I looked at it and it's like, let's just say a job that used to take a team of 50 people is now done by the AI. They still need technicians because the AI code is not good enough yet to not have errors, that a human still has to look over it, like a coder has to look over it and fix the errors manually or put it through another program to edit it. And that's what the people need to learn how to do is what is it called? AI prompting. Um, but you're right. To get into it, it's like you have to pay for it out of your own pocket. And I say to myself, I'd love to do this. I'd love to commit the time to it. I'd love to do it. But how am I going to be able to afford it? A and B, how am I going to be able to find the time to do it while I'm doing all this other stuff? Just trying to make ends meet. Yet, if I don't make the shift now, the world is moving awfully fast into AI, very fast, that I need to catch up or else I'm going to be left behind.
yeah, that's the thing, it's like, and look at the, did you watch Untamed on Netflix?
No, I haven't yet.
So that's with Eric Bana and uh, shot in Vancouver. And it was like, it's a big hit on Netflix, right? So we start watching it and we recognized they use massive AI. It's not CG
Yeah.
AI for not only the backgrounds, but you see that on the mistakes. You know that I, for example, make sometimes mistakes with fingers, right? That the fingers are that you have 6 fingers. So there is a shot like where a woman says, "I put the cake in the oven," right? So she grabs like a cake thing, opens the oven, and put the cake in. And so she put the cake in, and I like, what the fuck? So I went back and did like stop motion, like, and it was just an empty cake thing. Like there was no cake in. There was just like the empty, right? And then her finger was 90 grade up. Like it was like this way up, So this was like a broken finger. So then I felt like, why the fuck they should do this shot in AI? I mean, you have her right in the kitchen. Why should they don't shot her putting the cake in the oven, right? I think they forgot to do the shot. They were in the editing room. The guy said, would be good to have the shot where she actually puts the cake in the oven, right? So, and then they created it. And not with classical CGI, just with AI. They talked into the AI and they made the shot. Then you have another scene what is also unbelievable. I mean, I've seen about Sam Neill, Eric Bana, $50 million production. There's another shot. So he and another cop standing in a forest. And behind them, in the two shot, behind them are like 3 trees, right? And so they cut to close up, they cut back to the wider shot, one tree. I'm not lying.
Oh
There were
boy.
three trees, one tree in the back. Shows like the background was changed. You know, like a lot of times when you see them horse riding through the whatever to the national park, it's playing a lot in the big mountains and parks. It feels so fake. You know, like a fifth from the 50s, this cowboy western things, they're all shot in a studio where you basically have like the prairie painted picture in the back, but not really nature. And now, what is that showing? What is that showing? That shows that Netflix secretly, because they didn't publicize that, working very hard to use AI to reduce all the costs of productions. And now, since 10 years in the future, 10 years in the future, there is no more Eric Bana or Sam Neill.
Yeah.
There are
If
the
you allow yourself to get these contracts, they hide the AI thing in the contracts, and like you have to really read them.
yeah,
And if they feed your image into the I read that it's like they could have copyright over your domain, over your voice, over various aspects of your performance, and not even in just this film. There's possibility they could have it in another film. Like let's just say you were a voice actor for a cartoon show and you had a gig and you didn't see in the contract that it said they have the permission to use your voice in AI. They could feed your voice into the machine. You could do a voice over for somebody else's project in the future that has no relation, and you could be sued for your own voice performance if you signed away your rights. So you've got to be very careful. And a lot of people out there who are actors, etc., if you see that in your contract, don't be afraid to speak up because 9 times out of 10, they will, if they really want you, even though they'll say, "Oh, we can't do this, we can't do this." If they know that you're actually going to walk, they'll edit it out. You'll see it blacked out on your contract. And if they're, you know, of a quality character, they'll work with you instead of being predatory, which it sounds like Netflix is. I mean, that sounds terrible. I haven't seen this show, but now you make me want to watch it just to see all the errors.
it looks so fake and it looks so like cheap. Looks like a CBC, like a Canadian TV production made for 2 million bucks, and they said they spent 50. And I
Oh my God.
Netflix now they close also a lot of deals in Europe and everywhere with normal TV stations that they host that normal TV stations now on Netflix. And as you see, Netflix hosts a lot of live sports now, live performances. So what Netflix is basically the world domination in everything, right? So I mean, and that is what I mean with the Colberts of this. I don't see a future of all that channels. You know, I think you don't have a sci-fi channel anymore or a comedy central channel. You don't need all of this because you will have it all on the stream, all of it, and uh, that's the thing that and the winners will be of course Netflix and Amazon because they have the biggest pull worldwide. I think Apple is not invested big enough to compete, you know, and I don't think Apple wants to be everywhere with everything, you know, but I think that Netflix is on the way to swallow up all this free TV channels, cable channels, and everything, or to put them in receivership and move them away, like to the dead end, you know, and uh, but coming back to the rights, the unions fighting very hard, you know, and it's exactly what you just said. Let's say you sign a contract, you play an extra in one episode of Star Wars, you know, then they will make you sign that as soon as they shot you in the costume, they can use you wherever they want, right? Means you make 250 bucks for one day, you're in a costume, and then you never hear from them, but then you're in every fucking show of Star Wars.
Yeah, and you never get paid again.
Exactly. You're done. And that's the thing where I have to say, when the unions always go on strike for a little more money, uh, that was, I mean, a super long actor strike. It was horrible. But that's the strike. If you don't do this, it's over. You know, like, because if you don't let these producers pay you as an extra every single time they use you, right? Then you will not, there will be no more extras. You will not make money. And the same with CGI people who doing special effects, because it costs their job, right? If the AI used in Untamed was not done by a CGI person or SFX person, just by the editor himself with a program, talking into the program, like make the forest behind them. Bing, so, and but that omits more and more and more jobs, and the last people who will be omitted as his lead actors who are making 20 million bucks, but they will be omitted too, because think about, you can make the Fantastic Four movie now, what looks like total kind of retro, right? Let's say you could do the same quality with completely artificial actors, like unknown actors, but good actors, but they don't exist. It's AI. Think about how much money you would save in production costs to make that film.
I think that would be so controversial. I wonder what people would react to that. I wonder if people would embrace or reject that. Fake actors, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
What
the.
do you think that people would reject that? I think that people wouldn't I think people are smarter than that, unfortunately, right now. I mean, it's not we're not shifting to that just yet. I could see that maybe in 20 years, but like as you see, if they can't even get the trees right, they're certainly not going to get the people right.
But think about, that's the beginning sickness, right? So it's like, but it shows that they're effectively doing it already without telling anybody, and that the progress is moving, and it will go way faster as we want. And I don't think that the society or the unions or the people are aware to this, what will actually happen. Okay, before we wrap it up, so Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan died.
Yep, Ozzy died. He played a show, his last show, in a giant chair because he couldn't get up about 2 weeks before his death. Um, it's pretty surprising. A lot of people are upset. Ozzy's cool. I was not a huge Ozzy fan, but whatever, rest in peace. As for Hulk Hogan, he's a known racist. Everybody's celebrating. He said he called people niggers all over the place. He got really upset when his daughter dated a black guy. So I'd have to say, you know, I'm not one of those people who's just going to celebrate his life because I'm not, I mean, wrestling, fine, wrestling's cool, but Hulk was kind of an asshole. I mean, the PR, he looked great, like all American boy, but that's just one less Trumper as far as I'm concerned.
You saw, did I send you the comic about it? Like Ozzy was like 76 when he died, and he drank and took drugs his whole life, and Hulk Hogan was always healthy and died with 71. But that was like a meme they put out. But I think, I mean, Hulk Hogan was of course a bad actor, as all in a way wrestlers are, But uh, I mean, The Rock and John Cena have a legit career now as actors, I have to say. But uh, but he was, of course, like a legend of wrestling. I never liked wrestling. I think it's total bullshit. I'm a boxing fan, but definitely two legends died. I had 16 records of Black Sabbath. I watched them live like 35 years ago here in Germany, the Sabbath Bloody Sabbath tour. I liked the voice. It was crazy that nobody had a voice like him. And Ian Gillan from Deep Purple had a similar voice when he did like Child in Time and so on. But that was exactly this times in for my age when we growed up. There were real bands,
Yeah,
that
real
like,
organic music.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were not selling out. They were existing, and that was like the Sin Lizzy, Deep Purple, Santana, Jethro Tull, Black Sabbath, of course the Rolling Stones. Funny enough, the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, both bands, maybe the biggest bands, were I was never the biggest fan of them. I always liked other, maybe a little lower and not lower end. Black Sabbath was a big band too, but I like this kind of bands more as I ever liked the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. The Doors, um, yes, Supertramp. Yeah, and so another legend died, but it was kind of crazy, so short after another, uh, and that shows like the big heroes are all very old now. Naja, okay, that was it. And
Yeah, guys, follow us on social media. Follow Uwe Boll at Uwe Boll 7. You can also follow the show here at Uwe Boll RAW on X, and I am Gary Otto Zero on X. We'll be happy to hear from you if you have any kind of requests that you want us to talk about, anything having to do with anything in socially or about society. Just drop us a line. Movie reviews we'll get to. I know some of you guys want to know what Uva's thoughts are on the new Fantastic Four movie. I don't know if he's going to watch it. Are you going to watch it?
no, not now. I will watch it all when I can watch it for free here in a streaming service. Yeah.
Okay. So there's your answer, guys, and we'll see you soon. Take it easy,
Bye.
Uva.